Germany and the United States have agreed to deliver 5 Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine as Russia's intensified aerial assault continues. Several displacement sites, including in Deir al-Balah, were attacked as Israel launches ground operations in central Gaza a day after evacuation notices.
Iran, China, and Russia will discuss Tehran's nuclear activities and sanctions on Tuesday ahead of talks set for Friday with E3 nations.
Germany and the United States have agreed to deliver 5 Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine. The announcement comes as Russia ramps up its campaign of long-range strikes on Ukraine, including using ballistic missiles which only Patriot systems can shoot down. Ukraine's former Prime Minister and newly appointed Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal says the systems will significantly bolster his country's aerial defenses.
Air defense, especially Patriot and PAC-3 missiles, along with ammunition, are crucially important to us. Russian terror is continuing, so we need to strengthen our air defense. I request the US to make these weapons available for purchase and our European partners to extend all the needed financing for their procurement.
Germany's defense minister Boris Pistorius issued some words of warning to Russia's President Vladimir Putin.
This sends a clear message to Putin. Dragging out the war will come at an ever higher cost to him. Ukraine will continue to successfully defy Putin's war machine and will weaken it a little more every day. It is our duty, colleagues, and our obligation to actively support our Ukrainian friends in this regard.
The news was announced by defense ministers of the Ramstein Group, who met virtually via video link for the 29th Ukraine Defense Contact Group session. The overall sentiment coming out of the meeting was that Western support for Ukraine will not wane and that Russia will be defeated. The Israeli military has launched a ground operation on Monday in the central Gaza city of Deir al-Balah. Multiple displacement sites and tent camps in the city were targeted by Israeli airstrikes. It comes just one day after Israel issued evacuation notices in the area, warning residents that intense operations are imminent. Locals were seen transporting their belongings as they left Deir al-Balah and headed to Al-Mawasi, an Israeli-designated safe haven which was also attacked on Monday. Deir al-Balah is one of the last remaining areas in the strip to not suffer significant damage. The city hosts hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians and is one of Gaza's main operational hubs for aid distribution. The ground operation is the first to take place in the city since Israel launched its offensive on Gaza in October 2023. The IDF has previously stated that they've stayed away from Deir al-Balah because they suspect hostages may be held there. The IDF said on Sunday that their ground operations, which will be aerially supported, will cut access between the city and the south of the enclave.
A trilateral meeting will take place on Tuesday between Iran, China, and Russia to discuss Tehran's nuclear program and the risk of sanctions being reimposed, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghai said on Monday. The meeting comes ahead of renewed nuclear talks with France, Germany, and the UK scheduled for this Friday in Istanbul.
بله همونطور که اعلام شد در یک مکانی غیر از اروپا در استانبول این نشست برگزار خواهد شد در سطح معاونان وزیر امور خارجه با حضور مسئول سیاست خارجی اتحادیه اروپایی در واقع معاون مسئول سیاست خارجی اتحادیه اروپایی موضوع گفتگو هم روشن هست رفع تحریم ها و مباحث مربوط به برنامه هسته‌ای صلح‌آمیز ایران.
The 3 European powers, along with China and Russia, are the remaining parties to a 2015 nuclear deal that lifted sanctions on Iran in return for restrictions on its nuclear program. European countries have threatened to trigger the deal's snapback mechanism, which would allow sanctions to be reimposed in the case of non-compliance by Tehran. Baghai said Iran is, quote, continuously coordinating with Beijing and Moscow on how to prevent the mechanism. He also noted that there is no plan for talks with the U.S., which ended after a 12-day conflict waged by Israel and the U.S. against Iran last month.
The Syrian government started evacuating Bedouin families trapped inside the southern city of Sueda. Buses were sent in to lift some 1,500 Bedouins from the Druze majority city. Hundreds of people were killed in over a week of clashes there between Druze militias and Bedouin fighters. A U.S.-brokered ceasefire on Wednesday did not appear to hold as violence flared again just hours after U.S. Ambassador to Turkey Tom Barrack announced it. But the tide may now be shifting as Bedouin clans announce they're withdrawing their fighters from the region. Barrack, who also serves as special envoy for Syria, welcomed the announcement and called for an end to the fighting. He also urged Syria's new government led by interim President Ahmed al-Shara to take accountability.
You have existing minorities and tribes that have lived most of their children's lives in chaos in another government. So when things happen, they resort to their tribe. It's individual, family, tribe, and then nation last. So what's happened is horrible. It's unthinkable. And the hope is that out of this, a consolidation of these issues occurs quicker. But you have a Syrian government in effect. They need to be held accountable. They also need to be given the responsibility that they're there to do.
The clashes between the Bedouins and the Druze threatens to unravel Syria's already fragile position after almost 15 years of civil war. The UN says more than 120,000 people were displaced as a result of the violence.
Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev said that his country is planning to file international lawsuits against Russia. They are doing so with regards to the Azerbaijan Airlines flight that crashed in December last year. The plane was flying from Baku to Grozny when it crashed near the Kazakh city of Aktau, killing 38 people. An initial report revealed that a Russian missile caused the plane to crash. Speaking to local media, Aliyev said that despite it being, quote, clear as day that Russia shot down the plane, whether they intended to or not, Azerbaijan did not receive a meaningful response from Moscow.
We didn't get any answer from Russian officials about that, though it's already 7 months have passed. For us, everything is clear. We know what happened, and we can prove it. And we know that Russian officials knows what happened. And it's a question why they do not just do what any neighbor would have done. Our requests or demands are absolutely natural.
The president added that Azerbaijan's demands are a guilty plea from Russia, prosecution of those responsible, as well as financial compensation.
Where can you go to escape the heat? Climate refuges are becoming more of a solution. With a wave of intense heat gripping European cities, climate refuges are places that can offer the population some coolness and relief. Public parks and gardens, libraries, museums and schools are among places that are open during the day to receive people who are vulnerable to extreme temperatures.
O efeito de ilha de calor é intensificado nestas ondas de calor e acontece normalmente em cidades. Isto porque nós temos cidades que estão densamente construídas, temos muito alcatrão que faz absorver o sol e ao final do dia nós vemos que às 6, 7 da tarde ainda é possível estar muito calor, apesar de já não estar muito sol, porque o chão absorveu. Depois temos vários edifícios e muitas vezes ruas estreitas, o que faz que seja difícil o ar circular.
The city of Barcelona served as a model for the rest of Europe, not because it was a pioneer, but what really makes the Catalan city a great example is the clear criteria for defining what a refuge is, according to this researcher.
Não é qualquer espaço que é automaticamente refúgio climático. E eu acho muito importante que esses espaços realmente, para que eles respondam às necessidades dessas populações que são mais vulneráveis a temperaturas extremas, eles precisam realmente ter esses critérios mínimos, né? Que, como eu falei, precisam ter um espaço mínimo onde as pessoas possam sentar, possam beber água, possam utilizar o banheiro.
In Lisbon, where thermal discomfort in homes is a reality, The city council has not yet promoted the use of a cooling network, but data scientist Manuel Banzer has created an interactive map where you can consult spaces like fountain, lakes, and municipal swimming pools.
Há uma grande amplitude térmica nas casas e Lisboa é das piores cidades da Europa em termos de eficiência energética, o que significa que tanto no verão como no inverno as pessoas têm dificuldade a aquecer a sua casa ou a arrefecer a sua casa. E por isso há aqui uma responsabilidade municipal e pública de nós transformarmos o espaço público num espaço que seja uma extensão das nossas casas.
Além do desconforto, o calor também surge associado ao aumento da mortalidade. Portugal registrou 284 mortes em excesso entre 28 de junho e 3 de julho, durante o alerta de tempo quente. Joana Marão Carvalho, para a Euronews, em Lisboa.
A Bangladesh Air Force training aircraft crashed into a school campus in northern Dhaka on Monday, killing at least 19 people and injuring over 100 others, officials said. The military said the jet crashed soon after taking off at around 1 p.m. local time, catching fire immediately. It said the aircraft experienced a technical malfunction, but that a high-level committee within the Air Force would conduct an investigation to determine the cause. It is the deadliest airplane crash in the Bangladeshi capital in recent memory. A desperate scene unfolded as the crash occurred. Relatives panicked at the scene as rescuers using tricycle rickshaws or whatever was available transported the injured to local hospitals. Bangladesh's interim leader pledged an investigation into the crash, expressing his deep sorrow over the accident.